What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Dolphins' Week 12 win against the Texans. Before we get into it, make sure you guys subscribe. Trying to reach 400 subscribers by the end of the week. Make sure you guys share the channel as well. I'd really appreciate it. We're going to get right into it. The Dolphins beat the Texans 30-15, and while the score seems closer, it was really complete domination by the Dolphins when in the first half. I mean, it was 30-0 at the end of the first half. Tua had over 200, just about 280 yards and a touchdown to end the half. And really, the offense was firing on all cylinders pretty much. The reason why the score got so close was because they sat Tua after a drive or two after halftime, so he was out for pretty much a quarter and a half, wasn't playing. Tyreek Hill was in and out. He wasn't getting his usual snaps. Same thing with Waddle. We even saw some Myles Gaskin, Jeff Wilson. He actually went to the locker room the first play of after halftime in the third quarter, but came back. He played a little bit. On the defensive side too, we had some guys that didn't play, and then the big injury of that game was Teron Armstead. We'll talk about that in a bit. But first, we're going to start with the offense. Tua had 299 yards, like I just said, in 3 quarters and a half, completing 22 of his pass attempts out of 36. One of his, he didn't have as high of a completion percentage as he normally does, but still a great game for him. QBR of 82.8. He actually took 4 sacks. I think 3 of those happened within 8 plays or something in the second half. But that was without Teron Armstead. Then the rushing game. The rushing game didn't really get anything going. We were more pass heavy in the first half, but then even when we tried running the ball, there wasn't as many lanes. Jeff Wilson did have a touchdown, 13 carries, 439 yards. His longest run was 9 yards. Receiving, it was another day where Tua distributed the ball pretty evenly. Waddle had 85 yards for 5 receptions. Tyreek Hill, 85 yards for 6 receptions. River Craycraft, 55 yards, 4 receptions. Sherfield, 33, 2 receptions. And Cedric Wilson, 26 yards for 2 receptions. So he distributed the ball very well. He had a nice throw to Waddle. Waddle had a great catch actually over the middle. Posted that video after the game. Great catch. He went up and got that 50-50 ball. Tua put it where he could go up and get it out of the defender's way. One thing I was actually pretty happy about was, might sound weird, but Tua actually overthrew a wide receiver. I was actually at the game, and that's what people were saying. They were happy, that not happy, but they just wanted to stop hearing this Tua can't throw deep, or that they wanted to see him overthrow a receiver. But I was really, really impressed with his play. Waddle had a great game, like I just said. Tyreek Hill had a great game. So really on the offense, I was really impressed. The second half was a different story. We saw how important Tua is to this team, because Skylar Thompson played a quarter and a half, and he had 1 completion, 5 passing attempts, 6 yards, a QBR of 0.3. So not the offense didn't get anything going at all, and where Tua almost had to come back in. But I'm not worried about that at all. I know it was the Texans, but that's our starting quarterback isn't playing. Tyreek Hill wasn't playing his normal time. Same thing with Jalen Waddle. So not worried about that. But we're gonna get into the defense. The defense played one of its best games of the year, in my opinion. Their leading tackler was Landon Roberts, and then right after him with Jalen Phillips. The defense combined for 5 sacks and 7 tackle for losses. Landon Roberts had a sack. Jalen Phillips had a sack. Jerome Baker had a sack. Duke Riley had a sack, and Bradley Chubb had a sack. Good to see his name there. Bradley Chubb, also the addition from the trade deadline. He also had a forced fumble where he came around and hit the ball out of the quarterback's hand, Kyle Allen. It was recovered by the Texans, but that was a great play. Another thing on that defensive line, Jalen Phillips, he had his best game, I think, of his career. Not because like he had a sack or anything. It was only 1 sack. A sack is a sack, but just because of his hustle and his determination to get to the ball, he had 2 plays where he was just chasing down the quarterback. I really love seeing that. That was one of my favorite plays that I've seen him in the Dolphins, and even with the Hurricanes at just relentless effort. So a great game from him. Then we had 2 interceptions. Van Ginkel had an interception returned to the 2-yard line where Jeff Wilson ended up scoring, and then Veron McKinley, his first interception of his young career, towards the end of the game. So defense really played good. Didn't allow a point in the first half. Then allowed 15 points in the second half. Still a great game. Starters going in and out, and then something that's really been a question has been the special teams. More towards the kicking. Jason Sanders went 3 for 3. His longest was 45 yards, and he was also 3 for 3 on his extra points. So good to see him getting back on track there. So it was really a complete game from the team. I was very, very impressed how they, coming off the bye, maybe a trap game. Maybe they don't play as well as they wanted to, which I don't think they did. Had some drops, had some missed opportunities. Tua did miss a throw to Tyreek Hill. Would have been a touchdown. I think rescored anyway, but that would have been a touchdown. Then Waddle had a drop. I think he actually had 2 drops. And then Tyreek Hill, he got hit in the back by their safety Pitre, where he dropped the ball, but I wouldn't count that as a drop. That was a pretty hard hit. So really, there's always going to be opportunities that might be missed, especially after coming off a bye. So I am not worried, but let's talk about one thing I am very worried about. Teron Armstead, he got hurt in the third quarter, and in the second quarter actually, and after he left, the offensive line was completely different, allowing 4 sacks. It was really bad. That's why I actually wanted them to take out Tua because of that. He actually took a few sacks that looked pretty bad, got up and was fine, but he hurt his pec. He's supposed to be out. Mike McDaniels didn't really give a clear answer. They don't really know just how severe it is. They did say redodgeable. It's not season ending. He's not expected to play this week, even next week. So that is very, very big and concerning, especially that we face a defense with one of the best pass rushers in the league, in my opinion, with Nick Bosa. So yeah, that's something that I'll try and update you guys on. But I think it was a great win. Tua had another great game. I spoke on my favorite play from the defense, which was from Jalen Phillips. On offense, I had 2 favorite plays. The one where Waddle caught that ball over the defender, and then that play where Tua had nothing. He moved up in the pocket. Then he kind of juked the defender. Then started scrambling, all while keeping his eyes upfield, and then he eventually found Durham Smythe in the end zone for a touchdown. Those are stuff that we wouldn't have seen last year. So I'm very, very, like I've said, impressed with Tua. These 3 games are just the 49ers, Chargers, and Bills are going to show how real this team is. So I'm very excited for that. We're going to make a video on that. The preview of the game. When we record it, there might be some different injury updates. So we'll keep you updated on that, because there's some big names that actually might not play on both sides. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Fins up.